How did a rookie end up solving a problem a colonel couldn't? Colonel Westfield had been fighting this battle for 8 months. Our entire communications network kept crashing every Tuesday at exactly 2:47 p.m. No exceptions. Every single Tuesday, like clockwork, radios would go silent across the entire base. Lasted exactly 37 minutes, then everything would mysteriously return to normal. The colonel brought in cyber warfare specialists from the Pentagon. They spent 3 weeks analyzing our systems, running diagnostics, checking for enemy interference. Found absolutely nothing. Next came the contractor teams. Civilian tech experts who charged the Army $2,000 per day to stare at computer screens and shake their heads in confusion. Never seen anything like this, the lead contractor admitted after 2 months. It's not malware, not hardware failure, not electromagnetic interference. Your network just decides to take a nap every Tuesday afternoon. Colonel Westfield was losing his mind. Base communications are critical for everything. Training exercises, emergency responses, coordination with other installations. You can't run a military base when your radios die every week. That's when Private Kemp showed up, fresh out of basic training, assigned to our communications section for his first duty station. Kid looked like he belonged in high school, not the Army. His first Tuesday on the job, I was showing him around when the network crashed right on schedule. Kemp just stood there watching the screens go dark, this puzzled expression on his face. Sergeant, can I ask something that might sound stupid? I figured why not, the experts had tried everything else. What happens at 2:47 on Tuesdays specifically? I shrugged. Nothing special, same routine as every other day. But Kemp kept pushing. There has to be something different. Networks don't crash randomly with that kind of precision. It's either programmed or triggered by an external event. The kid grabbed a clipboard and started mapping out every single activity happening on base at 2:47 p.m. Guard changes, meal schedules, training rotations, vehicle movements, everything. Most soldiers would have given up after an hour. Kemp spent 3 days creating this massive timeline chart, cross-referencing dozens of different activities with military precision that impressed even our senior NCOs. Found it, he announced Thursday morning, pointing to one line on his chart. Every Tuesday at 2:45, maintenance crews test the emergency backup generators. Takes exactly 2 minutes. I stared at him. So what? Generators are completely separate from communications. Kemp pulled out building schematics he'd somehow acquired from base engineering. Kid had done more research in 3 days than our contractors accomplished in 2 months. Look at this wiring diagram. The generator testing room shares an electrical panel with our primary communications hub. When they test emergency power systems, it creates a voltage fluctuation that crashes our network. My first reaction was disbelief. That's impossible. Emergency power testing happens all the time. Why would it only affect us? Kemp had already figured that out too, because the testing protocol changed 8 months ago. New regulations require running generators under full load for safety verification. The increased power draw is what triggers the voltage spike. I called Colonel Westfield immediately. He arrived 15 minutes later with 2 majors and a handful of senior NCOs, all looking skeptical. Kemp explained his theory using diagrams he'd drawn by hand, showed how the electrical systems were connected, why the timing was so precise, and how the new testing procedures had created an unforeseen problem. Private, the colonel said slowly. Are you telling me that hundreds of experts missed something this obvious? Kemp stood at attention, voice steady despite obvious nerves. Sir, sometimes fresh eyes see what experienced ones miss. Nobody thought to question when the problem started versus when the testing protocols changed. The colonel ordered immediate verification. Base electricians traced the wiring exactly as Kemp had described, found the shared electrical panel, confirmed the voltage fluctuations, identified the exact cause of our network failures. Simple solution. Move the communications equipment to a different electrical circuit. Cost total, $47 in rewiring supplies. Tuesday came around. 2:47 p.m. arrived. Network stayed online perfectly. Colonel Westfield called Kemp back to his office. Private, I've spent 8 months and approximately $60,000 trying to solve this problem. You figured it out in 3 days using a clipboard and curiosity. Kemp got promoted to specialist 6 months ahead of schedule. Base commander personally wrote a letter of commendation for his personnel file. But the real kicker came 2 weeks later. Pentagon sent investigators to document the solution because other bases were experiencing identical problems. Turns out Kemp's discovery fixed communications issues at 17 different military installations across 3 different states, all caused by the exact same generator testing protocol changes. The Army implemented new engineering guidelines specifically based on his findings. They call it the Kemp Protocol now, requiring electrical impact assessments before changing any maintenance procedures. Kid became a legend throughout the communications field, got recruited for advanced technical training, eventually became chief warrant officer specializing in network troubleshooting. Last I heard, he was teaching courses at the Signal School, using his Tuesday afternoon discovery as the primary example of why simple solutions often hide behind complex problems. Colonel Westfield retired the following year. His farewell speech mentioned Kemp specifically, saying that sometimes the best military minds are the ones that haven't learned what's supposed to be impossible yet.